Welcome, everyone. My name is Nick Paserno, and I am Chairman Emeritus of the Shenandoah Valley Battlefields Foundation. I'd like to welcome you all here for the rededication of the Maine Monument on the Third Battle of Winchester battlefield. This was an effort that was started a little over a year ago. It was an effort started by Pete and Cindy Dalton. My wife, Kath, and I joined because we wanted to make sure that this battlefield had a monument dedicated to the men and sacrifices that were made in this field by the men of the state of Maine back on September 19th, 1864. And I think we've been able to accomplish that. We're very, very proud of this monument, the only monument to the state of Maine in the Shenandoah Valley on the Civil War battlefield. I'm going to begin by going over each side of the monument and explain a little bit about what is engraved and about the regiments there, and maybe even a slight bit of history. We're going to start here with the face of it. This monument is dedicated to the gallant men from the state of Maine who served in Major General Philip Sheridan's Army to Shenandoah at the Third Battle of Winchester, September 19th, 1864. And it shows it was dedicated 2021. Now, we call this a rededication because we had the official dedication on September 25th. But unfortunately, because of issues that were beyond our control, the monument had not arrived, largely due to the pandemic. But fortunately, about a week or so ago, the monument was set in place, and we're very proud of what we see here. Now, this is the front of the monument. The monument is made of blue topaz, and it is stone that was quarried here in the United States. So this isn't foreign stone. This is USA stone made here in the United States. We're going to go here to the 19th Corps side, where we talk about the 19th Corps. You see the 19th Corps badge. It shows that it was Brigadier General William Dwight's division. In his division, he had a Brevet Brigadier General by the name of George L. Beale. His brigade fought here. Beale was from Maine. He was from Norway, Maine. The regiment in Beale's brigade was his own 29th Maine, which was commanded here by Major William Knowlton, who was the commanding officer of 29th Maine, and mortally wounded on the battlefield in the middle field in the afternoon of September 19th, and died the next morning of his wounds. Also listed is Brigadier General Cuvier Grover. His division fought here. Grover is also from Maine. He's from Bethel. Under his command was Brigadier General Henry Burgess' brigade of the 12th and 14th Maine. During our dedication, we were very fortunate to have a grandson of a man who fought here. His name was Hiram Berry, and Hiram Berry fought with the 12th Maine here on this battlefield, and his grandson here was present. Mr. Berry is also an officer in the Maine camp of the Sons of Union Veterans, and they graciously donated a nice amount of money to help us with the monument fund to create this monument. And then we had an artillery brigade here, the Maine Light Artillery, the 1st Battery. That was Bradbury's battery. And the place where the monument is now is probably closest to where Bradbury's battery was located. Just behind us here, about 100 feet away, Bradbury's battery was placed during the battle of the Third Battle of Winchester. As we go to the rear of the monument, we have a quote. The quote was made by this man here, John Meade Gould. Gould was the historian of the 1st, 10th, and 29th Maine, and really chronicled this battle after the war. And a great deal of history that we know what occurred here, particularly with the 19th Corps, comes from John Meade Gould's writings. And we included a quote. This quote appears on the last page of John Meade Gould's regimental history that he wrote in 1871. And what he wrote was the following: "We are glad that we could suffer for our country's good. We glory in our strength and all that's credible to a soldier. But war we hate, it shall never exist again if we can prevent it." And that was written by John Meade Gould in 1871. Quite an interesting person. He really, his service during the Civil War was probably one of the most memorable events in his life. And he has a number of descendants And I think some may be watching this afternoon. And then we have the 6th Corps side. And the 6th Corps was Brigadier General George Getty's division, General Daniel D. Bidwell's brigade. And you'll see we have the 7th Maine. Now, some people may say, well, gee, I thought that was the 1st Maine Veteran Volunteer Infantry. Well, it became the 1st Maine Veteran Volunteer Infantry the day after the battle. But up until the battle, that was the 7th Maine. There was an artillery brigade here as well in the 6th Corps, the Maine Light Battery, Battery E of the 5th Battery. So we wanted to represent every regiment that fought here in those 2 corps, the 6th and 19th Corps. We're very, very pleased with this. We hope you all come down to see it. And now I would like to introduce my partner in this endeavor and the person that's really most responsible for this monument being here, Mr. Pete Dalton.
Thank you, Nick. That was a great job. It really was. I wanted to, first off, welcome everybody that did join today. I wanted to thank everyone for all of their generous contributions to make this monument possible. And the folks that donated, you know, this is what we ended up getting for all that money that you so kindly donated to the cause. And I wanted to thank the Shenandoah Valley Battlefields Foundation, especially Nick Paserno, for helping us to get this project not only underway, but to keep it going and to finally see it to fruition. I have here some Maine, a Maine wreath. We wanted to put the wreath here as with Christmas and everything coming, we thought it would be appropriate. So I'd like to at least attempt to dedicate this monument with this wreath. Now, I also, Dave Sulin did us a great favor. Dave Sulin sent me some birch bark. Now, birch trees are native to New England. I don't think I've ever seen one here, but I have a small piece of birch bark that I wanted to place on the monument as well. Dave was able to get out and get some pine spills from a Maine pine tree. So we'll sprinkle a little bit of that right here. And we also have some Maine soil left over, which was provided by Dave as well. And I wanted to sprinkle a little bit of that again while the monument, we had done this on our initial ceremony, but I thought it would be good to do it again with the monument actually in place. So there's a little bit of Maine soil as well. And I have something else I'd like to talk about just briefly. All right. And I think what I wanted to do first was to answer the question, why a monument? And I'm reminded, Nick had mentioned all of the Maine units that fought here. The one thing that I think people should realize or understand is exactly how many, here we go, how many men fought here from the state of Maine. The numbers that I keep trying to calculate and recalculate indicate that perhaps as many as 2,300 Maine men were here on this battlefield. When we look at the individual units that were here, for example, the 7th Maine Infantry, for example, later the 1st Maine Veteran Infantry, on this field just to our left, they had 1 soldier killed, 17 wounded for a total of 18. The 12th Maine had 14 killed. It had 83 wounded, 15 missing for a total of 112 on this day. The 14th Maine had 7 killed, 52 wounded, and 3 missing for a total of 62. The 29th Maine
Who else is there?
had 1 killed, 24 wounded, for a total of 25. The 1st Maine Battery, 1st Maine Artillery, which is just behind me here, had 2 killed, 6 wounded, total of 8. And the 5th Maine Artillery had 6 wounded for a total of 6. The total casualties for the state of Maine in this battle was 231. And I'd like to just summarize what happened in the 64 campaign. There were 118 killed, 932 wounded, 262 missing, for a total of 1,312 casualties in all the Maine units that fought during Sheridan's 1864 Valley campaign. And I think if you have a moment tonight, it might be good to go back and maybe take a look at Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. And I was struck by what it said, not in the first paragraph or the second paragraph, but in the third and final paragraph. Because it says it's just something I think you maybe should, if you get a moment tonight, read that. Just reread that. I remember as a kid, I think I was forced to memorize this as a kid at one point in my life. But it's very, very, very much appropriate, I think, for this battle, in this battlefield. I think that perhaps Lincoln's Gettysburg Address wasn't just for one address, it perhaps was for many, and this would be one of those. So that's what I have to say. I want to thank everyone again for attending this rather brief ceremony, getting a chance to look at it. We want to invite everyone to come and visit it. And what I'd like to do is turn it over to Nick, and Nick has some final words.
Thank you, Pete. I mentioned a little bit earlier about the colonel, the major, rather, the commanding officer of 29th Maine being mortally wounded here. And just to tell you the story about how that happened, the morning of the battle, he went to 2 of his captains and said, "Men, gentlemen, don't be worried about your individual companies. Look after the entire regiment today." They said, "Why? Well, you're going to be here." He said, "No, I'm going to die today. I feel like today is my last day and I will die in this battle." And people might say, well, premonition of death for soldiers is probably not all that uncommon. But in Major Knowlton's letters, he wrote his wife, Harriet, every day, and he signed up those letters, "Love, William," except his last one. His last one is signed, "Goodbye to all, love, William." That's one story of many stories that battlefields hold, particularly here in the Shenandoah Valley. A story is about these men, why they fought, the reasons why they gave up life at such an early age. Come to our battlefields, learn about our battlefield, learn what happened here, learn the history, learn about the sacrifices made. Enjoy them. Please support battlefield preservation, support the Shenandoah Valley Battlefields Foundation. Become a member at shenandoahatwar.org. We look forward to your membership, and come here and enjoy the stories, enjoy the land, enjoy these bucolic fields, and we welcome you here, and thank you for tuning in today.